Here we go again. Oh, it's been a long time. But you've asked for it. You have requested. Here it is. Rick James in Toronto. Let's get it. But first, I want to say thank you to you guys, man, who went out there and made this just a tremendous day for all the people in the world out there, by coming here every day basically and just making the page is what it is. I want to say thank you. And anything I can do to help you guys out as far with the videos and the requests, I take suggestions. I don't do requests, but if I may have the time and make the time, I try to make sure I give you them all. Now, without further ado, this is what you wanted. Rick James in Toronto. So, Rick James gets drafted to go to the military. He was already scared to death about the Vietnam War. I mean, just scared itless, right? So, people had deserted already. A couple of people had already left and fled the army, and so many people were coming back dead. He was scared to death about, already they don't like blacks anyway. Then they're going to give them a gun and send them in a war to fight somebody they don't know. Blacks were a lot skeptical, just like them taking, the vaccine and stuff. They're very skeptical about trust. So the reports was out that more African Americans were dying than the actual whites out there, and that they were sacrificing the African Americans, and people were anti-war and everything else. So, Rick James is going to go to jail if he didn't, and face up to 10 years for aborting the war. So he went. And once he went through the basic training, they got him out there. And he was just like psyched him up and said, I'm going to learn everything I can so I can come back home. Now, as soon as he gets there in the barber's chair and they cut his hair, he had this afro, and they was like, that's got to go. And they cut Rick's afro, man, and he just saw himself in the mirror and he freaked out. It's like, I can't live like this. I can't can't do this. They didn't cut my hair, man. He was that shook. And he just bolted. Just ran. So his family, he told him he can't do it, he's leaving. So he decided the best place for him to go was Canada. Get out of the country. And they can get him over there to Canada, and he'll be all right. And change his name, he'll survive. So Rick James ended up following this all the way to the letter. So Rick James gets up, takes right off, beelines it right out there. Now, they had all of these other players that was basically in the band doing their thing. And Canada was home of the bands. Like Columbia Records Presidents was out there all through Ontario. So bands were, if you wanted to make it in the business in the 60s, if you were a European band or a Canadian band, you would be heard. It's the record company executives, most of them live out there. So Rick was just going to go out there, change his name. His name is actually James Amber. So he changed his name to Rick James to avoid the draft. Then he goes to Canada, and it's weird because one of his friends said, "Hey, are you finna walk over there?" He's like, "Gonna go to this concert, go watch this show." So the guy tried to give him a switchblade, and Rick was, "I don't need no goddamn switchblade. I don't need that at all. I'm just gonna walk over there." And the guy was like, "Just hold on. We'll all walk together. We'll walk down there. It's no problem." Rick wanted to go right away. He didn't want to wait. So Rick goes all the way down. I mean, all the way down there himself. And some guys was like, "Hey, where's this guy?" And they just come over and starts messing with Rick. And he told them who he was, and Rick had all this attitude. And Rick was scared to death though, because he was walking in the neighborhood and he just hearing this mind them trying to give him a switchblade, and he gave it back. Like, no, I don't need it. And now he needs it more than anything. So these guys just started hitting Rick. They hit him with about from the back of the head and just like knocked him down. The guys are kicking him, and Rick's not even fighting no more. There's so many. And what was going through Rick's head at the time was, damn, I wish I had this switchblade. So some guys across the street was smoking a cigarette and was like, "Hey, what the hell going on over there?" So the guy just happened to be Neil Young. You know, rock, country song singer, musician. Neil Young was one of some guys he knew. Came over there and they start fighting the other guys and got him up off of Rick James. So Rick told him he performs. He was like, "I perform, I play music, man. I write music, I write songs, man. And I'm an artist. I'm from America. I came over here." He's like, "I don't know what's going on." So they helped Rick up, dust Rick off, and they gave him a cigarette. Next thing you know, Neil brought him on stage with him. And he performed with Neil Young on stage right after a fight. Neil Young and Rick James. And then they ended up getting involved in a band called the Mayan Birds. And Rick was settling into his life as Rick James. And he's so talented with all his moves, his choreography, his attitude. Record executives are like, "This guy's incredible. This Rick James." So Rick is running short on money. He's staying with these guys, and money is scarce. They're doing these local shows. Nothing's really happened yet. And it was bad. They doing these shows. By the time they split the money, it's not enough money. And Rick is dating or sleeping around with one of these girls, this white girl. And she comes up to Rick and was like, "Here's some money, Rick." Was just helping Rick out because she loved him and said he was a genius. And Rick is just like, "What do you see in me?" Like, he's like, "If you had any sense, you'll get the hell away from me. I ain't going nowhere. You're a good girl. You're a good girl. You're going to do something with yourself. Go do something with yourself. Just get away from me because I'm just going to pull you down. I don't know where I'm going." So, right away, almost immediately, Rick James decides it'll be in his best interest if he was to just focus hard on his music and be something. But he didn't want to be with this girl anymore because being with her and her every day seeing him fail and not be anything is messing up his mind. So he wants to push her away as far as he can so he don't have to see her no more. And he could just focus on music. Now, why is everybody doing this right now? Because this is getting on my nerves too. I'm sitting here talking and then all this is happening. Hold on. 1 second. This is just getting insane. So, anyway, Rick is out there like, I got to get through with all this. I don't want to go through this. It's done. I don't want to, you know, go down and be involved in this predicament. So everything was going according to how the band was. They were just being patient and waiting on record deals or whatever. So Rick gets a contract, and then they find out about his, departure and all this stuff later, after the fact. But this is before this. This is all before the Rick James. So Rick, the girl comes back to Rick and says, "Look, Rick, I got a couple of girls. They want to work and do all this stuff on the streets, and we'll just bring you the money." And that's what she was like. You could just still do your music thing, but I don't want you to give up music. We'll pay the rent. We just want you to, protect us. So Rick was like, "What do you mean protect you? I'm gonna be doing shows." She was like, bring in some friends, and they might want to pay, and that way it's safe. You got some of the guys, they'll pay, and we'll pay you a cut, and you're protecting us. So Rick was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, that seemed like it'll work." So Rick James would do shows, and the girls would be out there working the crowds, going to find Johns. So this was safer than them being on the streets. And Rick would bring some of his friends at parties and be like, "Yeah, man, she bad, ain't she?" And so pretty much Rick had a stable. And prostitution was huge in Toronto. Huge. Big business, especially in the 70s. It was huge in Chicago and definitely Toronto. So girls was working on the streets getting their money. Rick didn't need that. Rick was getting it in the club and wherever they were performing. So the show money wasn't really nothing because he was making about what they were making in a show. He was making like what everybody in the band was making in damn near 2 nights just from his cut. And he never really had to do anything. So they had a massive party one night, and Rick had made all this money from the girls. And he was, "I'm thinking I'm gonna throw a party like this once a month. And then I want you to bring all the hoes out there. Y'all look real sexy, real nice. No, and then you make sure you got my goddamn cigarettes too. I need my cigarettes. Now, they gonna have to bring liquor and bring cigarettes. And then just bring some money. And, then it's on. And then we're gonna have the 3 rooms in here, and those rooms are only for the customers. I don't want to see nobody in there with no boyfriends or smoking or hanging out, nothing. Those 3 rooms for business." Yeah, we can make some money. So Rick turned the apartment into basically a hoedown. So it was all kind of partying, musicians coming in there and they're paying money, and back then the prices was so low, but they were making rent. So now things are getting like out of hand because the partying is getting more and more excessive. So Rick at this party is so wasted. Like he's done. Everything's gone. And he's got his buddy with him who's driving. And they was like, "Rick, just stay over here." Rick goes, "No, I got it. I'm going back to my house." Now Rick was going back to where he was staying. Now where he was staying at, the girls were working there. So Rick didn't want to be around what was about to go down over there. So because the clients is there, some guy walk in, the other guy think it's a setup maybe. So Rick don't want to do that, so he was hanging out at his buddy house. But now it was time for Rick to go home, and they wanted to keep Rick there. And Rick was tore up, like tore up drunk. And Rick knew he wasn't driving, so that's why he kept drinking and kept partying. So when it was time to leave, the guy thought Rick was staying and spending the night. This did not happen. the, the guy was thinking Rick was spending the night, so he was getting just as drunk. Rick is getting drunk because he's like, this guy's going to drive me around. So everything was going the way supposed to, going to plan. Until Rick is ready to go, and this guy's like, "Oh well, okay, I'll drive Rick." But he's like, "Rick, I think I've had enough. I just spend a night, man. I take it." No, 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 man, you got this. You can do it. You can do it. We gotta get there. Gotta get there. I gotta get home. I gotta get home. I gotta go to bed. You can sleep here, Rick. No, 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 no. Go home. So Rick's ready to go to his house to go to sleep. The guy's getting behind his car and he's finna drive. This lane, it's just like nothing but like cars parked on each side of the lanes. And he's just finna pull out. And the guy's like, all right, Rick, I'll talk to you later. I'll see you house tomorrow. Yeah, all right now. Rick rolls down the window, lights up a cigarette, smokes it, got his hand out the window, blows the smoke, and he lays his seat back. And he's sitting there and he's like, all right, go, drive. Soon as the guy drives, puts the car in drive, he goes all the way left. Boom! Hits the car that's parked. Goes right. Boom! Hits the car that's right. As soon as he starts driving, it's not like he got a good run. Soon as he got in the car and turned out, boom! Hits the left. Boom! Hits the right. Rick, all right, yeah, keep going. You got it. His eyes is closed. Head back. You got it. Keep going. Yeah, keep going. Yeah, you're doing good. This dude hit like 4 or 5 cars all the way down there. So he just hits the brake, stop, and like in the middle of the street. What are you stopping for? Keep going. Come on, where almost at? They didn't even make it off the block. The guy said, I can't see, Rick. I can't drive. The guy's like, I think I've hit some cars. Oh man, come on, man. That ain't nothing, man. That's just a little bumper, man. They can buff that out. Just go. You got this. Keep going. So the guy puts it in drive. He starts going, and he didn't hit another car. He was like, okay, I guess the adrenaline for like getting hit, bumping into some cars, but Rick was like, just keep going. Because it's late as hell. People didn't even come outside, at that time. It's like 3, 4 in the morning. And Rick's going back to the house. So this guy inside swiped 4 cars. He goes home. So everybody wake up, and the people on the block of his friend's house saw the cars all messed up. So the friend that Rick drove home that night told the people, because he got scared when he brought his car back and they saw his car was all dented up and painted up. And he confessed that it was his car, but he said Rick James was driving the car. So now it's, this guy drove your car and he's gonna pay. So they were gonna go to the club to go see Rick James and ask him about what went down. So one of the guys, he's pissed because one of the guys is one of the clients that messed with the girls. So while he was with one of the girls, and he was like, Rick's avoiding me because he know he hit my car and he drove the car. And it was like, Rick was driving? Well, why would he give the keys to his car to Rick James to drive? That doesn't even make sense because he always drives his car. Rick wouldn't have done that. And Rick didn't, I don't know if Rick drove, but Rick never came back around. So when he was with one of the girls, things got crazy. Rick was on stage performing, And one of the girls were in trouble. She come running in there. And this is the main girl that set it all up that Rick was dating. She comes over there and tells Rick what's going on. Like, oh my God, Rick. Like, it was a major thing, like, it was crazy. And she's like, one of the girls been hurt really bad. And after the show, Rick jumps off stage. He runs back to the back room. And he says, get me, where's she at? She's at the house. He goes over there. The girl's like beat up, like really bad. Rick James finds the guy. He goes back over there where his friends is at, and they said which guy it was. Rick James is like, where's the guy? Where's he at? And he said, oh, so you like to beat women? Yeah, you hit my car. Bah! 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 Rick James beat him. Like, what was the movie Goodfellas? Remember when my man got out the car, walked across the street, and started smacking him in the face with that pistol? That's what happened. That is what happened. He had no pistol. Rick used his fist and beat this man almost to death. Rick James beat this man to a bloody pulp. And he was paranoid that he had killed the man. Rick jumps up like, oh my God, he's fucking dead. Goddamn son of a bitch. He's smoking a cigarette. And he's telling the girl, oh man, I got it. This is bad. This is bad. This is bad. They're going to put me in jail for like 20 years, man. So the more the guy was like, yo, dude, man, calm down. He's giving him some weed to smoke. And then he goes in and does a line of coke, which makes it worse. Now, the paranoia is really kicking in. They gon' any minute now, they finna come kicking in the door. Everybody gonna say Rick James did it. Rick's like, I gotta get out of here now. He tells Neil Young, Neil, I gotta get the hell out of here now. I think I killed a man. I gotta get the hell out of here now. So Neil's like, dude, calm down. This thing's happen all the time. You're good, dude. So it wasn't going well. And he felt like, I'm letting my band down. These are the guys that gave me a shot when I came to Canada. And now I feel like I'm letting them down. And this is getting to be a bigger problem than before. He goes to the club and he runs into somebody he knows. One of his friends, who's a Hollywood player, and says, dude, come with me to California and you will not regret it. And he's like, I gotta go tonight. He's like, well, I'm going tonight. You can go with me tonight. I can get you, let's go to California. Rick James said, that's the plan. Let's go to California. So, right enough, right as rain, went to guess where? California. So Jay got the tickets. And Jay Sebring, that's his name. And he's good friends with a guy named Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate. That's like his ex-girlfriend. So they're hanging out over there. They had a big party they finna throw. And that's why he was going back to California. Just left Toronto. Rick James came with him. And Rick was so hungover from the party. He was so messed up. He was immobilized, basically. Like, he's like, I was just so tired from the mental exhaustion of just beating a guy half to death, having to pack up everything and just leave everything. The girls are crying because Rick had to leave and everything. So, he was bringing in the money for them. So they had to fend for self. And Rick told her, "You got this, baby. I gotta go." So Rick bounced, packed up a bag, and just went to California. He wasn't coming back because he felt, if I come back, I'm going to jail. So that party that Jay Sebring was talking about winds up being the party where Charlie Manson's girls come in and slaughter everybody in the house, including Jay Sebring. Sharon Tate, all the other girls, they were taken out by the Manson clan. Rick James would have been in that house. For some reason, I just don't think Rick James would have been taken out in that house. I really don't. I think they would have ran into a whole new animal when they ran into Rick. But just imagine if Rick James was not hungover and messed up enough where he couldn't make it to the party. It saved his life at that time. We'd have never got all those songs, probably. See how crazy that is? See how crazy that is. Unbelievable. Then, after he gets his record contract, somebody rats on him and tells that he's a deserter. And then the record company finds out about it. And next thing you know, they're put in the crosshairs. Rick's got to do a year in jail, but the record company don't drop him. They still keep Rick, even though they're mad and pissed off. Because now, back then having a bad reputation was, that was like taboo. You're like out of the business when that happens. But this was actually looked at as just a red herring, in other words. So, yep, that's how it was, man, back in the days. So I'm gonna leave it there. But this is just another Rick James story. Yeah, very interesting. Oh, we're gonna get into when the next story we'll do. We'll tell you about the time he was on the run for the cops. Rick being on the run where everybody knows where his tour bus is pulling up and where he's gonna be. And they was ready to take him to jail every single time. We're gonna get into that in a little bit. It's your boy Carcino. I'm out. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the page, hit the notification bell. My Cash App is Carcino. If you don't know, you should see it pop up every now and then. But yep, want to support the page. We appreciate it. Like I said, we want to do this for you guys because you guys love these so much and it makes you happy. So I want to make sure I keep telling the stories, so that people can actually know that this is real. This is not false. It's not, I know it's entertaining as hell, but this is all real. This is all facts. So definitely tell me in the comments section which is your favorite Rick James story. And don't forget, there is a playlist that you're probably seeing right now. Should be like right now. They should have like the 4 videos up. One of them is the Rick James playlist. Definitely go in there, start from 1 and work your way down. All right. Oh yeah. Then we're gonna. Oh, okay. Then we got some more with the what's his name? Charlie Murphy. Yep. It's all coming next.